Hi.
Hello. Hi. I'm very nervous.
Oh, no, it's okay. You don't have to be nervous. You're good. You're good. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Getting over a cold, so my don't mind. My voice is a little off today, but it's
You're
okay.
fine.
No,
What's
thank you
your
for
name?
joining us, though.
What's your name?
I'm Gabe. Yeah.
Babe,
Hello,
that's what I
everyone.
thought. I
I'm
just
Gabe.
didn't want to say the
Yeah.
wrong
No,
name.
no, my bad. My bad. I'm
Okay.
Gabe for everyone that doesn't know. But yeah, I'm here. We're super excited. So, would you like to introduce yourself after I've introduced myself? Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Ruby. A lot of people call me Rubes. That's like my nickname. I'm an event planner, social event curator mostly. I also curate music showcases. I'm also the head of operations at Creative Sessions. The list goes on.
No. Oh, that's true, and we're gonna rack your brain about all the different stuff because you run a lot of stuff. I'm also gonna say at the beginning, if you all want to follow her Instagram, please check out her Instagram. It's got links to all the other companies and all the other things. I don't know if you want to comment it, and I can pin it, so that's the pinned comment that everyone sees. So I'll give you a second to do that. That way, again, if you're not following us, you can check in and follow us, but also please follow our guest today. Get some good information in, and then go and check out the rest of her work. Check out the rest of her companies because I promise you we got some cool stuff in store. I'll give you a second to do that.
Yeah, sorry, there's like 10 of them.
No, you're good. Well, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, go ahead and make sure you get them all because we can. I'll pin the comment and then that way everyone can go and check everything out.
This last
Look
one
at what.
is actually a surprise. I
Okay.
haven't even announced that it's me.
Oh, okay, okay. So we have some. Okay, hold on now.
Yeah,
All
got
right,
some
I'm gonna
tea.
pin this. I was about to say, so we'll need to get to that at the end. We need to come back to that. We're gonna circle back. I want to ask you other stuff first, but okay, we're getting a little bit of limited edition, special little sneak peek. That's cool. No, no, no. So, could you just kind of explain how you got into the music world? You do music events and kind of curation and stuff like that. Could you explain how you kind of got into that world?
So I'm super big on family. I'm really close with my mom, and a lot of my mom's friends are like basically my aunts. I have a godmom. Her name is Juliet Jones, and she's pretty high up in the music industry. She's worked for Warner Brothers,
Oh,
Atlantic,
yeah.
like pretty much every big label you could think of. She's currently the COO of Alamo.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, she just left Atlantic not too long ago. But my whole life, like growing up, I watched her like be a music executive, and she was really good at what she did. She was super passionate about it, and that's what sparked my interest in it. I cannot remember the last time I had to buy a concert ticket. So like ever since I was a kid, like she was giving me and my mom tickets to concerts, like taking us backstage, introducing us to people, and it just made me like super interested in music.
Yeah. No, that I'm a big concert person, so I'm definitely jealous of the concert tickets. That's like dream thing right there. But no, yeah, that's super cool. So you kind of always been surrounded by it,
Yeah.
which I think is always
Yeah,
kind of I don't know. It makes you feel a little more close to it. I feel, or at least for
definitely,
me, because my
definitely.
mom also plays stuff and kind of have me surrounded by it. So that's nice. No, no, no.
It also made me like open to a bunch of different genres of music. Like
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people when they're growing up, they listen to like one type of
yeah,
music, maybe two or three,
right,
but it's
right.
usually like R&B, hip hop, rap. Like, and I have like literally gone through every phase. Like I've gone to EDM festivals, and
Oh, okay,
yeah, like
yeah.
I've lived
Getting all
different
different. Yeah,
lives.
yeah.
Yeah, so
No, okay. Yeah, that's super cool too. Because I feel like, yeah, I think I'm looking at my little sisters right now, and they definitely kind of tend to say towards like one or two genres. I'm trying to branch them out and show them some different things.
yeah.
But do you have a kind of a way that you, at least nowadays, kind of look to discover new artists, music you want to listen to?
Um, so I follow like a lot of music pages on Instagram. And they
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
just post new music. Like some of them are actually Chicago-based
Okay,
pages, like you guys, to be honest. But then there's also like what's the word TV. There's also
okay,
Don't Be
yeah, yeah,
Late. There's so many that I can't think of off the top of my head. But honestly, it just pops up on my timeline these days. Like
yeah. No,
so, I just if I'm interested, I go look at their pages, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty dope. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, no, no, no. I like that, especially because yeah. So with the social media stuff. I think I get a lot of stuff. And I think other people find a lot of stuff online now that just kind of pops up on the feed. Makes it a little more accessible, I think. Um,
Yeah.
so we're gonna dive into the companies. We're gonna slowly ease in because you do a lot. Can you kind of explain the difference between some of the companies? Because we know you have Creative Sessions, and you also have your own event company, and then you also have a dessert like catering company that's also tagged. So could you just maybe give us a little breakdown of like the different companies that you're kind of working with right now?
So honestly, the first company I had was Events Reloaded, which is
Okay.
the event decor company. And so like that's what my LLC is in. It's in event
Okay.
decor.
Yeah.
That's what I started off my entrepreneurship with. Like basically doing baby showers, weddings, birthday parties, like
Yeah.
any type of event you think of. And one thing I noticed when I first started that company was a huge chunk of my event budgets were going towards desserts for the events. And
Mm.
I know how to make desserts. Like I've made desserts pretty much my whole life. Like it was like one of my first hobbies.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so I was like, I can make the desserts for these parties. Like, and so I took a couple classes to teach me like how to decorate the desserts.
Yeah.
I got my food handler's license. My
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know what a cottage food license is, but it's like the license that allows you to legally sell food.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I got that license as well, and I started doing the desserts for all of my events. Like,
Cool.
and it honestly saved my clients a lot of money because
Yeah.
like desserts are freaking
No.
expensive. But yeah, so I ventured into Dessert Junkie, which is basically like I always call it like the Events Reloaded Bakery because I really only use it when I'm decorating events
You
for
need
Events
to.
Reloaded.
Yeah.
And then That's So Rube's Events came along.
Okay.
It wasn't originally called
Okay.
that. I used to have a business partner, and we called it something else. And that was when I started doing social events. So
Cool. Okay.
I went
Okay.
from like decorating events for
Yeah.
people, like strictly doing that, to like doing like girls' nights, like
Cool.
Airbnb,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
type things. And then people started like telling me like you should have your own events, you should have your own parties. Like I would love to come if you had a party. So
Yeah.
then that was when like at first I didn't have the confidence to do it on my own, which is why I had a business partner. And eventually like, him and I just went separate ways and I just started doing it on my
Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
Um, and then I met Kahari, and Kahari is my business partner for Creative Sessions.
Oh.
So he actually started
Cool.
Creative Sessions. And I went to his first two Creative Sessions events, and I just had so many ideas for like how we could make it better and like how we could bring more people out. And I told him, I'm like, you should let me join Creative Sessions. Like, I think he asked me, and I was like, hell yeah, like I'll do it.
Yeah.
And he pretty much trusted me like with everything. Like he
Oh,
never questioned like anything that I wanted to do. Any idea I had, he was like, let's do it,
do it.
and we
Yeah.
did it, and it went well like every single time. And then the block party that I tagged, so that's actually a bar crawl that we're starting. So it's gonna happen every year Labor Day weekend. Um,
Yeah.
we're probably gonna do different areas of the city each year, but this year it's gonna be in Lincoln Park.
Oh,
The
okay.
date
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
actually August 31st. If anyone wants
Okay.
to come,
Okay. So people put that on the calendars. Let's just mark that down.
Yes,
Quick.
yes,
No,
mark that
okay.
down. Important date alert.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's really cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kind of get to visit some of the different neighborhoods around Chicago. That's a really cool one. Um, so no, that's awesome. And the different ones, again, you're involved in like so many different avenues, even though some of them are a little similar with like the event decorating versus the planning. But I kind of want to dive into um, what goes into planning an event. Like if you're going and you have an idea for an event,
Mhm.
kind of what goes into actually taking that idea and executing it to get to the real deal.
Um, well, the first thing I always try to do is solidify the venue. Like to
Yeah.
me, that's the most important.
Yeah.
I know so many people who like will post event flyers and they'll be like location TBD, and it's really because they don't have a venue yet. So for me, the most important is locking in the venue.
Yeah.
After that, I pick DJs. DJs are extremely important because the DJs are like always gonna set the tone of your event. Actually, I skipped a big part. After locking in the venue, actually, before locking in
Okay.
the venue, I pick a theme because almost every event has a theme. So
No.
then the theme will determine what venue I go with.
Okay.
And then the theme also determines like what the vibe of the event
Yeah.
is, which helps me pick DJs because I know so many DJs. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
literally so hard to pick DJs for every event. And then it's mostly just putting together a budget. I usually ask the DJs like for their rate first because
Yeah.
I really try like DJs. Most of them DJing is their main source of income, so I really try like not to lowball DJs. Like I really try to pay them whatever they
Oh,
ask for. And then once I know how much the DJs are charging, it's easier to put together a budget. Like
okay.
and so like the budget would cover either decor
Yeah.
or food or whatever, like depending
Right.
on the type of event.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Lately, I've been doing a lot of events in clubs. So when you do events in clubs, there aren't very many expenses. Like you don't really have to decorate. Clubs
Yeah.
usually have their own decorations versus like if you do a venue that's pretty much empty and you have to bring in your own decor. Um, so yeah, I mean that's pretty much my process. At some point, depending on the event, I analyze like who I want to collaborate with
Yeah.
because I'm very big on collaboration over competition. So like
Mm,
I collaborate with a lot of other curators and
yeah.
promoters because like I don't know, Chicago is just such a like crabs in a bucket type of city, and like I'm really trying to change that narrative, and the main way to do that is by working with people. So
No. No. I really like the collaboration over competition. I think that's like good for event planning, good for music, good for any sort of collaboration because I think that's a big one. And I think that helps you out a lot too if you have other resources, people who know other people know other resources. So that no, I just like that as like a quote collaboration or competition. No.
definitely.
So when you start an event, as far as like the budgeting, do you usually go into something after the DJ? You said you kind of go and you pick the DJ and want to budget around them. Do you go into an event thinking I'm gonna budget this much for it and then figure out how to allocate the funds to different things, or is it more like gonna go in and see what happens?
Um, that's a tough question because it really just depends on the
Okay,
event.
yeah,
Like for instance, like this Saturday, I have
yeah,
a brunch and day party at Hubbard Inn. Hubbard
okay,
Inn is not a venue that charges for the space. You just
mm,
have to meet a bar minimum. But I on September 21st, I'm doing like an
yeah,
adult prom, and that's
ooh,
an event where I have to pay for the decor. I have to pay
uh,
for the venue. I have to pay for this, and
yeah,
that. Like so it really just depends on the event. I will say lately for most of my events, I haven't really had a budget because again, I've been doing them in clubs,
yeah,
and with clubs, the expenses are almost nothing. Like, and a lot of the DJs get paid from the event revenue, so it's like I haven't really had to like
okay,
put
yeah,
together a budget. I've just had to give myself a goal of okay, I'm gonna sell this many tickets,
right,
or I'm gonna invite this many people because
yeah,
sometimes I do free events. So it just depends on the
okay.
event.
Yeah. And then so then funding the events like before, is it usually you're funding from whatever profit you made from a previous event? Or is it kind of like if you have to put like a down payment, how do you go about
Honestly,
and
I work, so a
okay.
lot of it just comes out of my pocket. Like
Okay,
honestly,
yeah,
like
yeah.
but I will say that most of the time when I do events, especially
Yeah.
social events, I budget the revenue from that event
Okay.
into another event. Like
Okay.
so, for
Yeah.
instance, the party that I'm having this
Right.
Saturday, like what I make from that is definitely going into the adult prom in September, like 100%.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, it kind of moves around. That's interesting. I actually didn't know that about clubs, but I guess that does kind of make sense if you had different places with bar minimums versus like a actual venue location place.
It also
Um,
depends on the
but
club. Like some clubs will give you a minimum, and you
yeah.
have to pay that minimum up front. Like
Oh,
it
okay.
depends. It depends on the place.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I did. I like didn't even think about that before. That's very okay. Huh.
yeah,
Little nuances go into kind of figuring out where you're gonna pick a venue, how you're gonna do the event. No,
yeah.
that's really okay. So then, I kind of want to go into so you know a bunch of DJs for the events where you might have other artists performing. How do you kind of go about? Is that all connection, or like do you have a different way that you go about trying to find artists or people to kind of be at the events?
Um, like, do you mean like social? I'm sorry. Do you mean like the music showcases?
Yeah,
So you're asking about the artists or the DJs?
I'm talking more about the artists. The DJs I mean, if you have a different different solution for the DJs too. But it said that you kind of talked about how you kind of have some of those connections already established.
Honestly, with the showcases, a lot of the artists that we put on the lineup are like artists that I'm not familiar with.
Oh, yeah,
Like, don't get me
yeah.
wrong, I'm
No,
familiar with some of
no,
them,
no,
but I like my idea behind the showcases was to like extend
no.
opportunities to artists in Chicago. Like, so don't get me wrong, we're a little picky with our showcase
No,
lineups,
no,
but
yeah,
it's also like building up the artists.
yeah.
Like a lot of these artists, like they don't get very many show opportunities, and then also there's a lot of people in Chicago who curate shows, and then they charge artists to perform at these shows. Like, and I'm not knocking
Okay.
anyone who
No, no,
does
no. Yeah,
that,
right.
but I just don't agree with
Yeah.
that. I believe that like artists should either be they should either be promoted properly to
Right.
gain exposure from a show, or they should be compensated, or both.
Well,
Like, I don't believe that artists should ever be paying someone to be on their lineup.
right.
Like, so I kind of just research
Okay.
artists. Kahari is very familiar with the music scene in Chicago, so he
Okay.
kind of helps me pick
Helps.
artists for the
Yeah.
lineups a lot. We did an all girls showcase back in May
Okay.
15th.
Yeah.
For that one specifically, we put up an Instagram post and we asked people, we were like, we're doing our first all girls showcase. Who do you guys want to see on the lineup? And honestly, the post did like 2,300 comments. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, it was literally like 2,300 something comments.
Oh,
And Kahari and I went through every single comment and we added up how many votes people got. And we literally picked the people who
yeah.
people
Who
in Chicago
people were?
wanted to see. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Oh
so
my.
it just depends on the show.
Yeah.
We just announced our hip hop show on August 24th. And I pretty much kind of sat back for that one, and I let Kahari pick that whole lineup because he's so passionate
Okay.
about hip hop.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he kind of gave me full control for the girls lineup, so I gave him full control for the hip hop showcase. And he picked some pretty good artists. I'm not gonna lie, and some of them I never heard of until he
Yeah.
picked them. And I went and looked at their page, and I'm like,
Oh
wow,
no,
some of
I
their
bet
music is
that's
dope. Yeah, like they're on my Spotify now. Like, so
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, that answers it. That answers it. I was about to say because that kind of goes into how you find new music and then how you specifically find the people for the shows. So I think
Mhm.
that's something. And then so like the advertising, is that mostly social media for events and for artist showcases? Okay.
Yeah. Well, for the artist showcases, so the cool thing about booking Promontory
Yeah.
is Promontory will give you physical flyers,
Oh,
like with your event. Like, because of course Promontory, like they're a venue,
right.
so they want you to make money because when you make money, they make money,
Hey,
whether it's off of the bar or the door or whatever.
right.
Um, so they give you physical flyers. So outside of social media, like
Yeah.
we do run ads and stuff on social media, but when we get those flyers from Promontory, we go all around the city and
Huh.
like tape those flyers like everywhere, so that like
Interesting.
even if people have never heard of us or
Right.
have never heard of any of these artists, if they see this flyer on a pole and it looks like a cool event to them, they'll
Right.
come. Like, I've actually had people tell me like, yeah, I came because I saw this flyer downtown
Yeah.
somewhere. Like, and that's just super cool to me. Like, that's one thing I love about Chicago.
Yeah.
People are always outside. So if you got physical flyers and you tape them around outside, people are
People,
gonna see them.
but no, yeah. That's also that's cool to hear because I think of like I've seen some flyers around for certain things, but I feel like people are definitely more focused on the social media aspect of stuff now rather than like physical word of mouth or actual
100%.
physical advertising. So I think that's really I didn't know Promontory gave out flyers. That's also really cool of
Yeah, a
them to
lot of
kind
people don't
of out.
know that, and
Yeah,
I just recently found out that you have to ask for them. But yeah, they do it. So if
yeah.
you guys have any events upcoming at Promontory, ask them for some flyers.
Interesting. Okay. No, no,
They're
no.
not,
That's
they're
really
not just gonna offer. You gotta ask.
no. That's fair. That's fair. You gotta do the work for it. That's fair. I'll take that. No, that's really cool. Okay. And so then I'm going back to Dessert Junkie
Mhm.
and kind of the world of figuring out the desserts. What goes into kind of creating a menu for whatever event you're gonna cater for?
So I have like a by the dozen price list
Okay.
of things that I offer. So I pretty much it's like cupcakes, cookies, brownies, cheesecake
Yeah.
shooters, Rice Krispie treats,
Make,
strawberries, pretzels, like pretty much anything
oh
you can
yeah.
think of. I have it on my price list.
Okay.
And then like I just send people my price list,
Yeah.
and I'm like, let me know what you want, how
Yeah.
many dozen of each one you want, and then we just go from there. Like for each item, I have a list of flavors.
Okay.
So like it gets a little hectic sometimes trying to remember everything, but I have it all like in a document, like
Yeah.
where I just copy and paste to people. So yeah.
Okay. And then so you said you usually just bring the catering kind of as like something when you're doing an event already. Do you
Mhm.
ever have people reach out just about catering?
Yeah, just
How do,
about the desserts.
okay, yeah,
Yeah. So I have a few different order forms. So I
yeah,
have one order form that's for full event decor,
okay,
like if you need the decorations as well as the desserts.
yeah,
And then I have an order form that's just for desserts if you just want to order
okay,
desserts by the dozen.
yeah,
And then I have an order form that's for like a dessert table. So like for instance, if you don't need the whole party
yeah,
decorated,
you
but you want the
just want,
dessert table set up with the decor and all of that, I have a separate form for that. So usually people just tell me what they're interested in and I send them one of those three forms. I
yeah,
will say that I don't get as many dessert orders as you would think, but that's
okay,
only because I don't post it as much. And
okay,
it's also because like I hate
that's
just
fair.
doing dessert orders. Like it's more fun when I'm decorating
No,
the table with it.
no,
So
no, no,
like
I get it,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, like I'll do it if someone asks. Like don't
right.
get me wrong, I'm never gonna say no unless I'm just unavailable that day. But as far as like promoting it,
No, no,
I'm
no, I get it,
kind
yeah,
of lacking in that area.
no, 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 that's fine, that's fine. So I kind of want to go to the decoration part. When you're decorating for an event, someone asks you to decorate for it. Do they give you the funding to kind of purchase decorations and go about that, or is the collaboration process more of, I have this idea, do you like it? I'm gonna get these decorations. Kind of what does that process look like?
So when I first started, I didn't have set pricing because I didn't
Okay,
really know what I was doing.
fair.
So I used to just ask people like, "What's your budget?" And at first it was like family, it was
Right,
friends,
right, yeah,
and then of course they would post my work, and then more people
yeah,
started contacting me. So I came up with like a list of packages.
okay,
So like I have decor packages that include the
yeah,
desserts, and then I have packages that don't include the desserts.
okay,
So
yeah,
people
yeah,
have
yeah.
the option of either one. I think I have 5 different types of packages. I
Okay,
have like small party packages, like
yeah,
for intimate parties. I have kids party packages, baby shower slash gender reveal packages, wedding packages, and then birthday party
okay.
packages.
So you
Um,
covered, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so for each of those, I have like 3 tiers. So
Okay.
I have like 24 guests, 48 guests, or like 96 guests.
Oh wow.
And then each quantity, I guess I
Yeah,
should say, each number of people comes with the option of it has one price if you want the desserts included, and then another price if you
yeah.
don't want the desserts included.
Okay.
Yeah, so I usually just send people the price list when they say they're interested and just go from there.
Okay. No, that's yeah. So I have a follow up to that, and kind of the other thing about the desserts is just how do you stay organized? What do you have tips for people staying organized? I feel like there's so much you have to kind of remember and balance. Do you have any organizational like things you look to do or tips for people?
Honestly, it's hard. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. It's very hard to stay organized. So I have a folder in my phone
Okay.
where I keep my current invoices. So
Oh. Okay.
like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like when I get an order, I text the client or email. I always ask what their preferred method of
Yeah.
contact is. It's in my order form, and then I reach out to them and I get the info, and then I send them their invoice. So with the invoice, I can either save it as a PDF or I
Yeah.
can save it as a photo. And so I usually do both. I usually send them the PDF
Right.
through email or text, and then I save the photo to my camera roll,
Okay.
and then I add it to that album. Like so when I'm like planning the
Yeah.
events, I know what events I have coming up. I
Right.
know what I list everything on the
Yeah.
invoice, like what desserts they're getting, what flavors they have, what their color scheme or theme is. Like I literally list
All of it.
everything.
Right.
And then yeah, I just review that. I also use my notes a lot. Like I have like 6 different folders in my notes, like one for each company.
No,
Like
yeah.
it
No.
does get really hectic. It gets really hectic. I also have like family members who help me. Like I have cousins who are younger than me who be like, "Can I help you?" And I'll be like,
Oh,
"Yeah."
that's sweet. Yeah. No, that's nice. Okay, so you kind of have you have a couple different avenues because I'm just thinking I'm sitting here thinking like the flavors and then the people and then all the other little details and nuances. It just seems like a lot to keep track of. and something you'd have to like stay on top of to make sure you have it all down, especially because that's all for like one company, and then you have the other company, and then you have the other. So it's just like I applaud and like sit kind of in awe of like the organizational and like patience that you have to go through all
Thank
this,
you.
kind of keep everything to compact and organized. That's just that's I applaud. I can only
Thank you.
that's like
Seriously.
really all I can do. No.
I
So then
appreciate it.
pardon.
I said I appreciate
Oh,
it.
no, yeah. Okay, so then I kind of wanted to go to for events. I saw on Creative Sessions there was a photography event, and then I
Mhm.
want to say I saw also on your personal page there was another photography event. So kind of for those photo shoot events. I don't know if you're as heavy-handed in those or not. How do you go about booking a photographer, or do you kind of use the same one each time?
So the photography events were actually the first event that I did under Creative
Okay,
Sessions. Like that was
yeah,
the event that I told Kahari like we should do a photography event, and he was like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, let's do it." Sorry for my language.
No, you're good.
But
You're good. You're good.
so I think a lot of people are a little bit confused on like the structure of the photography events. So we
Okay.
don't actually book photographers for the photography events.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
You you kind of have to think of it like a photography open house almost, because it's
Oh,
just open.
okay.
Like any photographer can come, any videographer
Oh,
can
that's
come,
really cool.
anybody
Okay.
who wants to
Yeah.
get their photos taken can come. Those events are always free,
Yeah.
because they're centered around creativity. Like we want people to come out, express their creativity.
Yeah.
Like we're not trying to make money off of anyone. We're literally just giving people opportunities to like build their portfolio. Like, and I've seen a lot of photography events since we started doing it. Not saying anyone's copying us, but
We we give flowers where
yeah, yeah. So like, it's pretty much what it is. I've met probably since August of last year, I've probably met 30 different photographers just from doing the photography events. Like, and they just come
yeah.
and they're just happy to be there and take pictures. Some of them send us all the pictures afterwards. Some of them don't. Some people collaborate us on their content. Some people don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally
A mix. Yeah.
their world. Like, it's like whatever they
So
want to do.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely did not realize it was kind of cabal and kind of collaborate with as many people as you can. That's really cool because I had also I'm definitely in the misconception. I was like, it must be more structured of like you get a specific photographer and you have like a sign up or something maybe for people to come in. That's really cool. No,
No, we actually felt like it would be too complicated to do it that way.
yeah,
And then we definitely didn't want to charge people to come and take pictures with the photographers,
no,
because if
that's
anyone should be making money off of that, it should be the
no,
photographers, you know?
yeah,
So, like, we have had a couple photographers come to the photography events and take pictures of people and then tell people they have to pay for their pictures.
no,
We don't agree with that.
yeah,
Like, that's not our way, but we can't tell people what to do when we open the
yeah.
door for everyone, you know? So,
No, that's true. You
yeah.
got you don't have so much control over the people and what they kind of want. But that's really cool. I did not realize that it was so the community aspect. It feels like is something that comes through a lot in this work of like letting people do art for the sake of letting them do art and get their art out there rather than the profit. But I think is just also really cool. I think there's so many people that benefits to let them just kind of have that practice and get that art out there. No. So okay, I kind of wanted. Oh wait, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say creative sessions is just more so about like building the creative community. Like the
Yeah,
social events are like what I charge for.
that's.
When a party, you gotta spend.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
I'm just
No,
joking.
no. I feel like both are good though because I mean you get those events where you can come and be a little more social and a little more focused, and you get those events where you get the practical practice aspect of what you're doing and get to collaborate. Actually, that collaboration aspect I think is also a big one because I mean I feel like collaboration is necessary at a certain point. It is good to know how to work with other people. So I feel like giving that platform to come and do that is really cool and really important too. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
um, okay, so I kind of wanted to go. Do you have any advice you would give to newer artists trying to get themselves out there, or just kind of looking for more of these events and kind of what to do, reach out to get involved, things like
Mm.
that?
Honestly, like I know this whole like being a homebody, being inside, staying in the house thing. I know that's kind of like a trend right now, but if you're trying to like get yourself out there in any type of business or industry, like that is the opposite of what you should be doing. You should be outside networking at every event that pops up across your
Yeah.
social media. Like whether you know people who are there or not, like it's so easy to just ask a friend to go with you. Like, hey, I want to go to this open mic and I want to network
Yeah.
with other artists, like, and maybe I can make music with these artists one day. Like, um, we actually had our first open mic. Was it last Tuesday? It might have been last Tuesday. It might have been the Tuesday before. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But we had an open mic, and there were a lot of people who were there, and they were telling us, they're like, yeah, I don't really go outside that much, but I'm so happy I came because I met
No.
all these artists. They met DJs, like they met producers, like they met all these people that they wouldn't have met if they weren't outside. Like, so I'm one of those people where I like to be in the house, but I understand the importance of being outside.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
if you're not outside networking and building your brand and making connections, like you're not really gonna get anywhere, to be honest. Like social media is one thing, but there's only so much you can do on social media. You have to go outside and meet people.
No.
Like you can follow people on social media all day. If they don't know who you are, 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna follow you back.
That is
But
correct.
if you meet somebody outside and you're like, hey, I really like what you're doing. I really want to connect
Yeah.
with you. You guys
Yeah.
follow each other on Instagram. That's a connection. If you're outside at an event, imagine say you're at an event for 4 hours. Imagine how many connections you can make in 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if you're at home for
Right.
4 hours, you're not really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like so my advice to upcoming artists is like be outside, be at those events. Like if you have a significant other who doesn't understand why you're outside or that you're trying to build something or chasing a purpose, they're probably not the person for you, because the person for you is going to support you pursuing your dreams.
No, that is true. That is true. I have a
Yeah.
follow up to that of for people specifically looking for like event planning or event coordination. How kind of this can either come from like how did you kind of get started in that, or it can come of just advice you have for people getting into it now that you've kind of been in the business a little bit. How should people who are interested in that kind of go about trying to get involved in that world or possibly start their own company?
Are you referring to like the event decor or the social events?
I'm a refer to the event decor first.
Um, so when I first started doing event decor, I started off like doing baby showers for my cousins. Like I
Yeah.
had 2 cousins who had babies on the way. Actually, I had 3 cousins who had babies on the way, and I was like, "Let me do y'all baby shower." Like my first cousin who had a baby on the way, I planned her whole baby shower, and we still hired an event decorator.
Mm.
And it wasn't until after her baby shower that I was like, everything we
Could have
paid this decorator to do,
done
I
that.
could have did it
Could have
myself.
done that.
And so
Yeah.
after
Let's say.
that, it's really hard to like create a business with no content.
Mm.
So like I had to do those
Yeah.
events for free for my family members, like in order to get that content and even post and tell people to book me. So like that is like the main thing that I would say, like content is
Yeah.
important. Like even if you have to come, like if you're starting a business, like you have to look at your business as an investment for like the first 6 months. Like you have to accept the reality that you are probably not going to make anything. That whatever you put in, like that's just what you're putting in, and it's just an investment. Like so, my advice is that like don't sell yourself short. Like
Um,
don't limit yourself because you feel like you don't want to spend this money on your business. If you're worried about spending money on your business, you probably should not be starting a business, because businesses are expensive, okay? And like I said, they're an investment. Like it's going to pay off in the long
right.
run. Like you kind of just have to like trust yourself.
Yeah.
I had a lot of doubts in the beginning, and ultimately like I trusted myself. I had people in my corner who like, told me I could do it, encouraged me, helped
Right.
me, all that. So yeah, like just trust yourself and trust the people who are trying to help you.
No. Yeah. Yeah. That's I think important is that self confidence to be able to just kind of. It's tough work starting anything new, I feel like, or most things new that take more labor. I think it's gonna be tough getting that off the ground, and I think you are completely correct. You gotta put that grind in. You gotta have the respect for yourself to kind of trust, have faith is gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the slight follow, it might be the same, up to you, for social planning and it's like social events. Is this the advice similar? Just kind of put yourself out there and have that confidence, or is there a different thing you would tell people looking to get into that?
Social events definitely take more
Oh,
experience.
interesting. Yeah.
In order to have a successful social event, you have to have people who want to come to your social event.
That is true.
Like, so that involves like building your network and building yourself up
Yeah.
more. Like, it was a while before I started doing social
Okay.
events.
Okay.
Like I was decorating events way before I was doing. Sorry, there's
Yeah.
a bug. I hate bugs. But
You're-
yeah, I was decorating events way before I started doing social events. And I don't know if you remember, like towards the beginning of this conversation, I said that when I first started doing social events, I didn't have the confidence to do it
yeah.
myself. But that was because I didn't really know enough people. Like, and the person who I partnered with to begin with,
Yeah.
he literally knew everybody. Like,
Oh,
he knew everybody in the city. Like, and so it was once I like partnered up with him, it was really easy for me to like tap into like the social event market. Like, I actually ended up
yeah.
realizing that I know way more people than I thought I knew.
Well, there you go.
But
Hmm.
yeah, like I don't recommend anyone just jumping into the
Okay.
social events head first,
Yeah.
because you would almost be setting yourself up for failure. Like,
Yeah.
it's not easy doing social events. It's not easy at all. Unless you have like 1,000,001
Well,
friends.
yeah.
Like, if you're a socialite and you know a lot of people, then yeah, jump in head first. You can definitely do it. But like if it's something that you're just now creating an interest in and you're not sure if you like have the audience for it, I would definitely
Yeah.
say start small. Like,
Okay.
do a party for like 30
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a
Build.
networking mixer or something. Like, start small and then build up from there.
Yeah.
You see what you can do.
No, that is also, I think, yeah, that I think is important, that networking aspect, because oof, planning events, I also can't fully wrap my head around if I had to plan like huge events. I also got much respect for that too. And so then I guess we'll see if this one makes sense. As far as like the networking aspect, when you're going out trying to network to get people to come, are you looking for people that are just interested as people participating? Or are you looking for people that would potentially want to collaborate on an event later? Like, kind of what is the demographic of people that you're kind of looking for to kind of build up these events, if that makes sense?
It makes
Okay.
sense. So that's the thing though. When I go out to
Yeah.
network, I don't look for anything. I literally just talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Like like I and sometimes it's hard to start a conversation, especially because I'm kind of shy, believe it or not. Like, yeah, I talk a lot, but I'm a little shy. So like for me, what makes networking easier is just like finding something to like compliment someone on. Like, it's gonna feel very cliche, but like even if it's like someone's
Yeah.
nails, like if you walk up to a girl and you're like, oh my god, I love your nails, like
Yeah.
it's so easy to start a conversation from that. I don't really look for a specific demographic. I kind of just talk to everybody. Like, and honestly, like lately I've kind of been in my bubble. I haven't, like, when I go out, I haven't been
No.
networking as much because I'm
Yeah.
kind of getting to a point where it's like I know everybody.
No, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm starting to put myself in other rooms with people who I
Yeah.
don't know to
Don't, yeah, and build
expand my
some more.
network.
Yeah. No, that okay. That's a good. I think I like the compliment thing, because no, you do need something to start the conversation. It's not always easy to just walk and be like, "Hey, nice to meet you. Let's chat about
Yeah,
this."
like think about how awkward it would be if someone just walked up to you and just shook your hand and was like, "Hey," like you'd be
I would cry.
like like not
I,
even
yeah.
not even on something rude, like you
Right,
would just be like
right,
lost.
right.
Like,
No,
but
no,
someone
no.
someone comes up to you and they're like, "Hey, I really love your necklace. Like, where'd you
Yeah.
get it?" Like, you're gonna instantly
Oh,
be like,
okay.
"Thank
Right.
you. I
Yeah.
got it from blah 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 blah."
Right.
Like, and yeah, it's just gonna take you straight into conversation.
No. Yeah. I like that advice, because I'm also a little more shy. Also, believe it or not, I'm doing these interviews, but I'm also not fully my regular nature. And so no, I think that's a good kind of little rule of thumb. Maybe people can maybe take that, keep that in the back of their mind. Maybe some people are a little more shy as well. Um, okay, so then I kind of wanted to ask. I don't know if you have quite an answer, because it's not fully. You're not fully like music, strictly only kind of music events. But how is your relationship? I guess I'll phrase it differently. How's your relationship with like event planning and decorating changed since when you first started?
Um, I feel like I was a lot more passionate about it in the beginning.
Hmm.
Like I'm still passionate about
Yeah.
it, but like I have more of an interest in social events now
Okay.
versus like when I first started doing event planning, I had
That
no
was you.
interest in social events. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't even on my mind. Like I was so into like the event planning. Like and now it's kind of at a point where it's like I don't want to say I'm bored with it, but I feel like I've done everything.
The
Like I've
past.
done weddings, I've
Right.
done birthday parties, I've
Yeah.
done baby showers, gender reveals. Like I've done so much that it's like eh, it's still
Right.
fun, but
No.
it's just not it's not what it
Right.
yeah, it's not what how it was in the beginning. I'm definitely more passionate about social events right now and the music
Yeah.
events.
No, that I feel like that makes it. That makes it. You the passion has shifted a little bit. You know. And so that I guess kind of follow up to that is, should we look for more event stuff rather than kind of decoration stuff? Or like, where do you want to go from now? Where you are now? Just
Um
block
for the
party.
rest of the year I pretty much have like a bunch of social events. I have 3 music showcases coming up.
Okay.
Um The next one is August 24th at the Promontory.
Okay.
It's a hip hop show. And then we have October 25th at Reggie's, which is the next all girls showcase.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then, we have,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we have December 21st, which is like the anniversary of our Christmas show.
Ooh. Okay.
And that's back at the Promontory. So, like, I honestly forgot the question.
Well, no. You kind of answered, like, you're doing more social events. We should look for more social events. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
where do you want your career to go from here? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm working with creative sessions a lot right now. Like we
Okay.
have a lot of stuff coming
Yeah.
up. I have a lot of stuff coming up, under That's So Rubes as well.
Okay.
So that's honestly like kind of like my main focus for like the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I like that. I like that. This gives people stuff to look forward to. Look forward to some of these events. Again, you can follow to look forward to some of these events. Get some dates. Mark these dates down if you haven't already marked them down.
Yeah.
And then so with the kind of the next question I wanted to go to was looking back to where you started versus where you are now. These are all kind of somewhat similar, but like I promise there's different points to them. What advice would you give yourself first started getting into like any of this at all?
Honestly, I feel like I've said this so many times, but in the beginning, I did not have the confidence.
No.
Like, I didn't have the confidence to think that I could do it by
Right.
myself on the scale of what I'm doing now. Like,
Yeah.
if you had told me when I first started that this is what I would be doing, I would not have believed you. Like, so I guess my main advice to myself would be to trust yourself and like believe in yourself because if I had, like, I would have started way sooner.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but yeah, it literally took me having a business partner and having a really big fallout with that business partner. Like, and then from that, I kind of realized who I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could really do this without him. Like, I never needed him. Like,
No.
and so it kind of was just like a wake up call one day. And I wish I had like known and like accepted that from the beginning.
Yeah. No, I think that's nice. It's fun and it's kind of, I don't know, it's like heartwarming to hear your kind of story kind of progress and the confidence and just looking at everything that you get to run now and help produce and create and curate now is just like amazing. And I don't know, it's really nice to hear that you hear the journey, hear where you started, hear where you're going, and hear where you're coming from. So no, that's really cool. And so I'm gonna go back to the block party real quick. So the block party will be a bar top tour,
A
yes?
bar
Kind of.
crawl.
Bar,
Yeah.
bar crawl. Thank you.
Yeah.
Clearly,
So,
I'm.
so
Yeah.
basically, it's going to be split into 3 groups.
Okay.
There's 3 bars.
Okay.
The Dime, The Loft, and Never Have I Ever
Okay.
in Lincoln Park. Um, like red group will start at the Dime, blue group will start at um, the Loft,
Yeah.
and then white group will start at Never Have I Ever. And then every 2 hours we rotate.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's actually super cool. I've never been to a bar crawl myself,
Yeah.
but I've seen so many of them. I've seen my friends go to them and like literally have like the time of their lives. Like because each bar is like a different vibe. Each bar has different
Yeah.
DJs. Like each bar has different drinks and different drink
Right.
deals and different bartenders. Like so it's just like each bar is its own experience.
No.
So you're pretty much getting 3 experiences for the price of one in one day. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Yeah. Is there a backstory to kind of how you came up with the idea, or does it come from you hadn't been to one and you wanted to try it?
Honestly, I don't know where the idea came from.
Okay, no,
Like,
that's fair.
I genuinely don't know. Like, it kind of just popped in my head, and I was like, dang, I want to do a bar crawl. And I already had this one date at the Dime.
Okay.
And the owners and the manager of the Dime are like very like connected to the other bars in that area. So once I like mentioned it to them, they were like, we could really do this. And like, yeah, they picked promoters to like jump on the event with me, like, but they're letting me pick all the DJs. Like, I'm very big.
Okay, that's
yeah.
fair.
So of course these bars and these clubs, they have promoters that they work with often.
Right.
Like, so when I brought the idea of a bar crawl, like, Never Have I Ever was like, okay, we already have an event booked that day. Can you add our promoter to your event? And I'm like, I checked out their page and they were valid. So I was like, hell yeah.
Okay, yeah, and kind of get more. Okay, getting more connection right there too.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely. So it literally was just like, it just started off as an idea, and everyone took me so seriously when I mentioned it that it happened like that. Like, and I wasn't expecting it. I genuinely wasn't expecting it, but you know, I'm happy.
That's really cool. It's kind of the spontaneity of it. So then, will these events, how frequently? Like, is there a schedule to when you're trying to have one in, a certain amount a year, or you're just trying to get them in when you can? Is that
Are you referring to the bar crawls or the social events?
The bar crawls themselves, yeah. It's like for the block party, is this kind of, you trying to do this every few months? And you said you're trying to visit different neighborhoods too. Kind of, maybe what's the idea of going forward from the first one?
I guess that's a pretty good question. I haven't really thought about that. I do know that I'm gonna do it every year for Labor Day.
Okay.
Just because that's a 3-day weekend, I'm probably always gonna do it the Saturday before Labor Day. But I guess now that you asked me that, now I'm thinking, now I'm like, maybe I should do it Memorial Day too, May and September, the beginning of summer, the end of summer, like, maybe I should do that. Look at you giving me ideas.
I'm just speaking out loud, just trying to see, let people know when to expect, when to look out for it. No, okay, so no, maybe we'll see, but at least we have Labor Day, weekend of Labor, before Labor Day. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure, Labor Day.
People can mark that down as well. But no, thank you so much for talking with me today and talking with me. You've been such a wonderful guest. No, thank you. And it's been really cool to rack your brain on all the different things that you're doing. And again, everyone, please go follow the pinned comment. There's a bunch of accounts. Please follow them because you already listed a bunch of events coming up. So there's plenty for people to look at and do and mark calendars for. So yeah, please follow those. You can also follow us at Ambition Entertainment. We'll be back on Sunday with another episode of this Ambition Amplified series. We'll be interviewing someone else. But no, just thank you so much for coming and just letting me rack your brain and for spending your time, giving us all the time, sharing your experience.
No problem. I was happy to do it. Thank you for having me. And thank you for all the compliments. Seriously, it means more than you know.
No. I got you. But no, thank you so much. And we'll be back on Sunday. Yes. So thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.